Well, hello. We're still waiting for Philadelphia to get one of its last members, who Mana is pinging over and over again to try and tell him to join. He's now spamming weeb emotes in the Philly Discord in order to try and catch his attention, but nothing's really happening. So, at the moment, Philadelphia is still a man down. Meanwhile, Seoul is basically running most of their roster. They have JDam from Houston subbing in for them this time around, but other than him, everyone else is a Seoul original, as some might say. We're still waiting for the last person in Philly, but let's go ahead and talk about the fact that we are now in Stage 2. You know what that means? That means that teams who got very far behind because of bad starts or bad matchups in go at it yet again, and more importantly, two other things. First, different map pool. So we have a different set of maps which we will grow to hate over the course of the next couple of weeks. Isn't that fun? At least for the first 2 or 3 weekends we might be okay with them. And more importantly than any of that, Torbjorn is now enabled for us to play on these games. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone pulls out any Torbjorn strategies. I don't think we're going to see any today because I kind of doubt that either team even realizes that Torbjorn is allowed. Or at least, yeah, we'll see if they realize in the middle of a game. Torbjorn doesn't really work too well for Temple of Anubis, maybe. He might be a little bit good for second because of his ultimate, which can keep the enemy team off of the point for a little bit longer, or kind of try and zone them out. But again, that'll all be known in time as we're still waiting for someone to come on for Philly. Mana is now actually asking for someone to... Okay, I'm asking for a sub. Yep, Mana is asking for someone to sub in because one of his players is refusing to show up at the moment. These two teams were perhaps never the strongest in the league. However, there were pretty interesting reasons for that. Philadelphia struggled to get good footing and were the ones who had to deal with the might of Grubmerk's Bastion, among many other things. Dallas threw at them in one game, leaving them with a 0-4 record pretty early on. Seoul, on the other hand, has had really no form of coaching, no form or fashion of it. So now, however, they have me, who's willing to review some of their VODs, Distance, who's joined as more of a serious coach than I am, and hopefully one other person who is a friend of one of the players. So Seoul is hoping that a little bit more coaching than they had before, which again was 0 before, will be enough in order to help boost them up from where they started and bring them to being at least competitive with most of this season, or most of this season's teams. I was meant to have a partner in casting this. Unfortunately, I do not, and that sucks. That sucks for me, that sucks for you. But you know what? Most of the times I've casted without a partner anyway, so who's really all that surprised? That's really about all I have to say on the subject, so I could keep on talking and finding things to talk about, and I guess I will. Alright, so these two teams, they want to get a good start on each other. They both are aware that the other team is not one of the stronger in the league, so they want to use that to their advantage and try and start stage 2 with a pretty good lead. These two teams aren't just looking to win this round, they're looking to win it with quite a lot of space. They want to get the 4-0 instead of just winning it in that final fifth map, if it were to come to that. As far as the actual heroes that these teams can play, Seoul has been experimenting with a lot of different heroes, trying to learn new things and adapt. Meanwhile, Philadelphia has always kind of been a little bit stuck in their ways, a little bit of, we know the heroes that we believe that we're good with, and we're going to try and use those to the best of our abilities. Trivia is mine then. Oh, isn't that so kind, Jots? We're still waiting. Still waiting for Philly to even find one sub. It's now 11-11, and the round is not started yet. Apollyon has joined. It's looking like he will be the one. Swap him on to blue team. Looks like we are good and ready to go. If we aren't, that's what the pause button's for. Let's see. We good? It's looking like it. Yeah. Grab mark. No. Not again. Alright, we're good to enter the game.
Now entering the Temple of Anubis.
Let's see. Trivia is a fuck. Fuck you, grub. Oh boy, look at those things at the top, still covering the scoreboard. Feels bad, man. Yeah, Milo suggested to me that I change the display area. Milo suggested that I change the display area of my TV so that the heroes, like the hero icons in the top part of the screens, wouldn't like cover that stuff. And I tried it. It's kind of weird. It's kind of finicky. Especially because I think I basically have to do it with every account. That's pretty annoying. But whatever. I'll try and do it between maps, I guess. Because, you know, it's annoying for me. I can't see it either. Now on the defense, Sangar is going to be on this Pharah. Blazing Puncher is going to be on the Junkrat. There's pretty obvious anti-goats side of Philadelphia is running, which is going to be perfect, considering, that's right, Seoul is running the goats comp themselves. J-Dam's going to get trapped right quick, but he won't go down to that trap mine combination. He just has too much health for it. Now it's going to be Sangar and trying to find any damage here. Way too far into the round, he still only has 4% ult charge. He doesn't like that one bit. And this fight is a little bit hot and heavy, close and personal, but the first two picks are going in the favor of Philadelphia, and that should be enough to basically win them the round. Keep in mind that if you can just take out one person on the GOATS comp before losing someone of yourself, basically they lose a lot of utility, they lose a lot of healing, they lose a lot of everything that makes the GOATS comp good in the first place. All you're looking for is the first pick. They're going to find another kill onto Lil Gamer before the fight even really, before the side of Seoul even gets a chance to retreat, and now they're chasing it all the way to the spawn doors with this tire. It's a bit of a weird decision, and for some reason, he pops it, even though wasn't at risk of, we'll call it a fat finger. Sangarn's going to be the one who has to find a little bit more ult charge this time around, though. They wasted that tire, so they're not going to have that to stop this next push. An early kill onto Lil Gamer. This is, again, now a barrage. Justice raining from above will also do its good. How did Blazing Puncher get a... Did anyone see this? Blazing Puncher got a barrage kill onto the mech. I'm not quite sure what that is, but it do be like that sometimes. Dakota is now on this sniper. the Widowmaker. It's not a bad idea. Basically everything on the side of Philly is pretty weak to it if you can just land some shots. Koga's up in the air, still looking for something. The Pharah was to the left, deciding not the time or the place to go after, though. Wants to go after the exposed Junkrat, but still not finding anything. Sangern wants to take out Little Gamer. Air superiority. There's only so much air superiority you can have against that cyber superiority. Junkrat Tire will come out yet again, and now the res. This is going to be Philadelphia holding strong yet again. With only a minute and a half left to go, it just seems like no matter what Seoul decides to run, they just run into brick wall after brick wall after brick wall. Dakota is failing to focus onto this Pharah, which is going to do so much damage. If they could just focus down that Pharah and have that air superiority to begin with, they would have such an advantage going forward in the rest of this fight. But for some reason, they're just deciding that it's not the time. It's a little bit too hard with that pocket, but you can't do that. You can't avoid the Pharah. Two sides are playing pretty defensively, but that's only going to favor Philadelphia, as they want to burn as much time as they can. They're going to basically get a free fight win off of the back. They're basically going to get a free fight win off the back of just holding on to that graviton for as long as they did. And now, looking at this score line here, Philadelphia has 5 ultimates. Side of Seoul is going to be lucky to get 2. Jakoa popping her infrasight. And now looking for a kill, almost finds it onto the Brigitte. Now sees the Junkrat a little bit exposed. Question is, will they be able to finish off any of these kills? Sangern goes for a barrage, kind of misses it, but the tire will find 2. Dakota trying to do a little bit of damage, but the damage has been done to her team already. There's no way they're even going to be able to touch this point, and if they can, it'll only stop them for just a second, but they're not even going to get that far. Philadelphia full holds. It's pretty well done on the side of Philadelphia to hold them off for as long as they did. It just seemed like Seoul had no idea what they were really doing or how to even approach this point. Dakota was able to get some targets low with that Widowmaker, but was never able to finish them off, because by the time that she took and landed a body shot and got them weak, they're already able to get into cover. That's why it's so important to get that headshot with the Widowmaker in order to take out the enemy before they even have a chance to react. Even if you can't do that, you have to be able to focus down the Pharah, because if you can't at least take out the Pharah, who usually has no cover and is exposed anyway, then you're missing out on a major opportunity to basically get a free advantage in the next fight, creating a 6v5 situation.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
The true struggle is for the superiority of ideas.
Little Gamer is going to be on this Bastion, Justin on the Zarya. It's pretty clearly an interesting sort of defend the Bastion kind of strategy, but it's not full, so I wonder how successful it will really be, especially if Sangern chooses to run this Hanzo. All that Sangern really has to do as this Hanzo, basically, is just get behind the Bastion, where it's not expected, and Storm Arrow into his backside. That should be enough to take him down. The two sides are going to exchange blows at a distance, but keep in mind, all Philly has to do here is cap a single tick. So yeah, they're going to send an advanced party. This has to be dealt with, so a lot of people have to drop down. The Bastion loses much of his security as his shield falls. Blazing goes down. J-Dam also taking out Peyton. This is currently a 6v4. Make that a 6v5 as Blazing gets rezzed. However, this fight is still going in favor of the defensive side of the Seoul squad. But just so managed to hold on. However, now the side of Philadelphia is going to know exactly what they're running. They're going to try and theory craft a way to block it. Little Gamer back up in the air. He's still so exposed as they're finally just now using the rest of that wall ability to get him, to get his shields up top. But how long will they even stay there? They drop immediately in order to go for the contest, and now it's going to be Sangern facing down Little Gamer. If Sangern had his Storm Arrow, Little Gamer would already be dead, but Jots will actually be the first to go down. Bryant doing a lot of damage, but as a healer, that ain't really your job, bucko. Soul is getting taken down one after another. It seems like it's basically all over. Side of Philadelphia will take the first map. It's going to be a fairly quick first win for the side of the Philadelphia squad. Now going forward, we're actually going to be on Oasis. We've actually got a pretty interesting map pool for this, for the Variation A maps in this stage. That's going to be, we just finished Oasis, now we just finished Anubis, now we're going to Oasis. After that we go to Blizzard World, and then Junkertown. If it all ends up tying up, we go to Lijiang. Only 6 minutes of actual match time there. It's pretty disappointing for Seoul. They had a couple of strategies set up, and by strategies I mean run goats, lol, but that can only work if you get the element of surprise on your enemy team, but instead they played it directly into their counters. They're going to be going to Oasis. No one's telling me to stop the broadcast, so I assume that we're basically good to go. We go forward. This time Seoul's going to be hoping to even up this scoreline. If they can't manage to do it here, the only way that they'll get a victory is by getting a reverse sweep. And again, these teams don't just want to win this game. They want to win it really well. They want to win it strongly. They want to win it at least with a 3-1, hopefully a 4-0. Now that's not possible for Seoul anymore, but Philadelphia is on the upswing, and they want to try and keep this momentum going forward. Yeah, it just seemed as though the side of Seoul had strategies, but they just kind of didn't recognize themselves how to use them to the best of their abilities. So they played the Bastion on the high ground, but his shield would immediately drop down, and so would the Bastion. So even though you have that high ground superiority, you don't benefit from it because you bring yourself down to enemy level immediately. But now that we're on a control map, things are a little bit more evened up. It is basically just a brawl, king of the hill mode. We'll see which team has the pure mechanical skill to end up winning out this time around. Seoul's running a pretty interesting composition, to say the least. They have Dakota on this Sombra in order to try, gets a couple of utility hacks off, and Little Gamer on the Hanzo. Two sides beginning to clash with one another. J-Dam goes in deep, but not as deep as that squid goes, finding 2 kills himself before falling. Sangern trying to sneak into the back line here. Not able to do that much, but it doesn't matter. The rest of his team has already done the damage. Philadelphia will take the first capture. Really the only slight crack that was even made in Philly right there was J-Dam going on a bit of a suicide run, managing to do some damage before falling himself. Sangern kind of wanting to harass. He wants to look for any angle possible here But a probably lucky arrow from Little Gamer will find Peyton. They have a numbers advantage, but they're not really going in off of it, and they gave Sangar enough time to farm that pulse bomb, get a 2K, make that 3, goes after JDam. Now, Philadelphia doesn't just want to let sleeping dogs lie, they wanted to pursue that as well as they could, getting a 3K with the Deadeye. Now that Squid has his Earthshatter as well, and they're going to be hoping to win this next fight off of the back of that, but they have to contend with Dakota having this EMP. They want JDam to have his Shatter by this point, be so useful for them. But more useful is this numbers advantage. Dakota goes in deep, wants to win this fight while they have those numbers, but the hack doesn't really find much of anything. The dragon will zone people out, but it won't do much else. Peyton gets hacked, not a bad place to start. JDam executes the kill. Dakota executing on her own, doing a good bit of damage. Sangarn finds a kill with the pulse bomb. This is a big old brawl in the center of the square. But the side of Philadelphia is still winning out. Considering that we're at 83% towards the capture percentage now, this is not a fight that Seoul can afford to lose this next go around. They have both support ultimates, the side of Seoul does, but how much will that really matter for them? They pop the Valk. Slam only finds one, and the pin doesn't connect. Someone will be able to touch. That's Dakota. The nano comes through, but it doesn't seem to help much at all. 3 caught in the Graviton Surge. Meanwhile, they're just dying, completely spread out and scattered in every way, shape, and form. This is going to be Philadelphia taking the first map. I'm going to go ahead and do this. In-game voice volume to 100, baby. Because, man, it sucks when I don't hear ultimates being popped. We'll see if that makes it a little bit better. I don't like missing Deadeyes and stuff, especially when they find a 3K. But it's kind of weird. Like, sometimes I just don't hear them over all the noise from all the other fighting. Meanwhile, as far as any changes coming through, it looks like JDam's going to be on this monkey, Justin on the Diva, Little Gamer on this Gingu. They're choosing a more mobile comp. I don't really want to call it dive because you can't really do dive all that well on Koth maps. But it's close enough. Unfortunately for them, they're playing into a fair amount of counter dive. Things are going to get a little bit difficult. Blazing Puncher manages to find the stun, but that's about it. The only other thing they'll find is the shuriken into the mouth from Little Gamer. JDam goes in a little bit deep, a little bit fast, and he'll get bursted down for it. Charge comes through. Philly Tank getting himself to safety. Numbers are 6v5 in favor of Philly. Make that a 6v4. Seoul's gonna want to retreat. There's no way that they can win this. Just let it be. Sangarn on the chase. Manages to get the D-Mech on Justin. That's going to be really painful for Seoul. They don't want to wait for him to get that mech back, but they're going to have to. Or he'll just suicide. Never the answer, kids. Never the answer. As far as ultimates are going, Sangarn coming up on this pulse bomb. We've seen him find a lot of success with it in the past, especially against the side of Seoul, which kind of chooses this weird sort of bunched up way of moving around. They don't want to be too separate from each other, but that leaves them very vulnerable to gravitons and to, oh boy. Well, I heard that one, but I wasn't able to react fast enough before the heads were popped clean off of Jots and Bryant. That's going to be enough to end that push. We're at 52% now. The question is, will Philadelphia be able to finish things up before Seoul can even get any points on the board here? They find an early pick onto Dakota. That's not a bad place to start from. Meanwhile, Sangarn up to something sneaky. But will the sneaky stuff that he's doing be fast enough to deal with this sort of weird flank? Apparently it will. He finds the kill onto Little Gamer. Now the pulse bomb goes out. All it finds is an already dead body. Sangern still jumping right into the fray, looking around for someone to kill. J-Dam should be his man, but so many ultimates are now getting popped from the side of Seoul. They know that they can't afford to lose this round. They're finding the first 2 kills. It's not a bad place to start. Sangern now trying to do whatever damage he can. A little fly floating around, stinging like a bee. J-Dam goes in a bit deep, finds a swinging Reinhardt, and he doesn't want to be there any much longer. Now look at the ultimates for the side of Philadelphia. Blazing Puncher coming up on his Deadeye. Sangern basically has his Pulse Bomb, and the tank ultimates should be great for them to combo those with, especially because they'll already have the sustain of the rally now being popped. Sangern's looking for an opportunity to use this Pulse Bomb. So many ultimates are coming out. Will Little Gamer find much of anything with this? Not before he gets taken out by Blazing Puncher. Not only using the Deadeye, but also just using his aim to take out that Genji. Philadelphia is going to be taking back the point. Dakota's going to be trying her very hardest to keep it in overtime for as long as she can, but it's over. It's done. Philadelphia have taken map 2. Philly have taken map 2, and with that, we're now in pretty dire straits to the side. We're now in pretty dire straits to the side of Seoul. They have to get a reverse sweep in order to have any hopes of coming back here. There's that 3K that I missed. 4 cards for the side of Philly.
It's nice to be appreciated.
The game decided that Seoul just didn't quite do well enough to deserve any cards of their own, and really on that map, I don't necessarily disagree. They seem to struggle yet again to deal with Sangern on this tracer. They also struggled to really initiate most of their dives. If they have, considering that Seoul had the more mobile comp, it doesn't seem like they really knew how to use it to the best of their abilities. Now going forward, the next map that we're going to be headed to is Blizzard World. Oh, no. Alright, hope you're all ready for like 6 weeks, 7 weeks, I don't know, of Blizzard World, because I'm not. Blizzard World, we go.
Welcome to Blizzard World.
Alright. Now, heading towards Blizzard World. These 2 teams are going to be looking to get more wins. Philly to pad out the wins that they already have, and Seoul to try and put any numbers on the board. Again, Seoul knows Philly is not one of the stronger teams in the league. They aren't. While they do have Apollyon subbing in, he hasn't really been the one who's been popping off for his team lately. It's mainly been the DPS line of Philly that's been doing so much of the work and winning these fights before they even begin. So now the question becomes, what exactly are you going to do, Seoul? They get the first attack, as they do on every single map with attackers and defenders, because they're on the right side. They're looking to run this Widow, but it's going to be a Widow duel by the looks of it. The question is, who will end up winning out in the end? Sangern, we've seen him be impactful on Tracer, but Widow is a different beast entirely. You can't really depend on that much movement. You have to very much so believe in your aim. Oof. Looks like they want to go around the left side. Not a bad idea. It gets them up close before the enemy team can even really react. The question is, are they going to recognize? It looks like they kind of are. Yep, we see them positioning. They know exactly what you're doing, Seoul. Taking some shots to start with, but will they find much in the way of damage? 2 body shots will be enough to take out Bryant. Taking out that main healing is so huge to start this round. Meanwhile, Dakota, going around with the flank, manages to find the head, take it off of Sangern. Someone was trying to do a little bit of back capping, but there's only so much that you can do. Justin also falling some sort of suicide, either by jumping into the water or just by doing a little bit of damage to himself. Dakota in a little bit of a bad position, but will get healed up. Sanger now returning to his team. He got caught out by the flanking Widow before, but his team had already won the fight by that stage, so he's not going to mind too much. Dakota's looking for the head of that Widowmaker, and is at this point just kind of taking some random pot shots at it. Knows he wants to finish her off. Wants to finish him off. Dakota now getting harassed herself, though, but Bryant will find the kill onto Blazing Puncher. It's not a bad place to start from. Oh, that would have been enough to take the Widow's head clean off. It just didn't find it. Pin comes through, gets J-Dam weak, but the bubble will keep him alive. J-Dam getting a little bit more damage done, and a brawl happening over here as it's a support versus a tank. The tank getting some good healing. But finally, Seoul will manage to find point A. Only 10 minutes burned off the clock, and they're going to get a little bit more time to keep them going. Blazing has this Genji blade, as he's just so helpfully reminded us. Question is, when are they going to decide to pop it? If they go now, it's a little bit early, right in their spawn doors, but they might want to spawn camp the side of Seoul if they don't respect the team that much. Blazing in a little bit of a bad situation, he'll get punished. The res will come through, but Dakota manages to take out. Blade finds one. Will it find anything else? Not really. 50 health, Blazing Puncher's name. Now at 200. J-Dam takes him out. Dakota doing damage as well. I mean, this fight is, technically speaking, going in favor of the side of Seoul, and we see them now beginning to push this cart. Sangern's going to be looking to win this duel, has the advantage with the Infrasight, but still can't beat Dakota. The res will come through, so we're going to get a rematch just soon enough. Now Dakota getting harassed by that, and Sangern went down again to Justin Shark. This payload's just trucking along. Dakota's going to be looking to find the advantage for her team to keep it doing so. Gets a body shot, gets another. Meanwhile, on the ground, her team is winning this fight despite being stuck in a Graviton Surge. Blazing and Sanger have now swapped onto these hit scan heroes. A bit of an interesting decision. Now going forward, we see Sangern tucked away in this corner here. He wants to try and probably get a flank attack onto Dakota. However, he's going to be playing this into the Tracer. He gets caught out by Jots, but Jots doesn't manage to finish the combo, so he'll still survive. The Riptire comes through. What will it find? Manages to only find the Fire Strike. That's about it. Slam down comes through. Doesn't manage to find much, but that's not the case for Dakota. Already find a kill onto Blazing. Now onto Awesome. Blazing will come back from the dead and gives revenge on Dakota Jones. Another brawl on this point, but we see all the damage is going in favor of Seoul here until finally they begin to fall. They're still going to want to push this as long as they can. Seoul is living on borrowed time here. There's no way that they're going to be able to push this all the way to the end at this rate, but they'll get as close as they possibly can. Blazing coming up on his ultimate now. He sees the Widowmaker over to the side, wants to take her out before she can do much damage to him. Doing a bit of harassment from a distance. Now he'll pop this sight. He wants to get some more damage down, but he's still not finding anything through the armor and through the shielding. He just can't confirm any of those kills. These sides are trading right now, as it's going to be Dakota popping these popping those Infrasight in order to get a good vantage point. Misses the soldier on the ground, bit of an awkward angle to hit the shot. Meanwhile, rest of the team manages to cart it all the way to the end. Not badly done from the side Not badly done for the side of Seoul, managing to cap it with 2.5 minutes. So even if the side of Philly manages to cap it, they need to cap it with time, because if they can't and it goes into overtime, they're not even going to get a chance to recapture point A. Meanwhile, their opponents will get 2.5 minutes, which is more than they needed to capture it the first time around. Now, Dakota Jones manages to find a little bit of success on the Widowmaker attack, but the Widowmaker defense is a lot different of a beast. You have to be the one who's cautious of any possible Widowmaker flanks instead of being the one who gets to go on them yourself. They're going to be, by the looks of it, playing against the Goats comp, so it's possible that they could beat this the side of Seoul, but really, all it's going to come down to is basically if Lil Gamer can almost get lucky and have the opponent fall for perhaps a trap, which it looks like he's going to now to set up. Maybe. Wouldn't be a bad place to be. Lil Gamer saying that all up early. But it doesn't look like they're really going that way. They just want to go up top the normal route. It's going to be not exactly in line with the plans of Seoul, but now it's a shooting gallery for Dakota. She has to find something. She has to find some damage onto his squishy, but instead she's shooting at the tanks. Even then only managing to get body shots, so it's not nearly the damage that she wants it to be. Both charges are coming through. Dakota finds one onto the main healer. That's going to be a lot down the side of Philly now. They don't have time to play this conservatively. They have to win this fight here and now. They have to win it fast before they get out-healed. Dakota gets pressured by the Diva. We see that all the way in the top corner. Bryant coming up on his coalescence. In fact, he has it. Chooses to pop it. It's a bit of a weird time. The rest of your team's dead. He'll go down shortly thereafter. Seeing the Zarya getting caught in the trap, Lil Gamer will oblige her with a lot of free charge for her bubble. Lil Gamer has this tire, but when's he gonna decide to pop it? When's the time, Gamer? Looks like he wants to set down a trap to defend from a possible flank. Blazing goes a little bit in deep, and he'll have to get nursed back to health. Dakota gets found, taken out early. The 5v6. That squid is gonna be, or JDam is gonna be looking to even up the score, and off the back of that, Lil Gamer will be able to find a kill. Ultimates are now getting popped to the side of Philadelphia, and they're going to be hoping to win this just about as fast as their opponents did the first time around. Seoul managed to basically cap second without it ever stopping even once. Now it's going to look like Philly is going to repeat that fate. 6 minutes to capture third. Justin has this Graviton Surge. It could pop it early in the enemy side spawn. Diva Bomb comes through, finds Jots. It's going to be pretty bad for Seoul. That's so much of their healing now down and out. They're hoping to make up for it with a lot of damage, though. Lil Gamer finds that kill with the Junkrat tire, and now it's looking like Seoul is managing to turn the tide here. As Philly has decided that, hey, it's fine, just go ahead, jump off the map. We don't want to give him any more ult charge. Polyon manages to melt through the opposing Zarya, though. Jots has this nano boost in the event that he decides his team needs it. Now they're playing against Sangern on this Reaper. Gives the nano to someone, but yeah, gives the nano to the Reinhardt, but not enough damage is going to be done considering that they're in that Graviton Surge. Bryant will be the one, again, doing a lot of damage as a support. Dakota taken out. As this payload gets closer and closer to the finish line. Seoul has to be thinking to themselves, what do we do here? How do we counter this? They're coming up on a couple of ultimates. We see the Junkrat tire being unleashed, but will it find much in the way of kills? Not through that not through that Lucio ultimate, apparently. Also, a little bit of freezing coming through, but how much will it find? Not much of anything. So much is getting thrown out here. The payload's at 0.00 meters, and it'll finally get to the end. We go to overtime.
Score 3-3. Switching.
So much time was gotten for Seoul, but so much more for Philly.
Challenge our assumptions.
As we now get to go on a nice little tour of the map as I make my way all the way back to first. Chandelier is still moving, that's interesting. It is a map that Seoul cannot afford to lose if they want any chance of coming back and taking this. However, it's also not a map that Philly wants to let go of either. They want to secure, first and foremost, that they've won this round, this set. And second, that they get a good, healthy start for their map differential. At least for stage 2. We see here Dakota and Lil Gamer. Bit of an interesting double spam offense. We don't really see this anymore because most of the time double spam is used on defense in order to counter goats. So it'll be interesting to see if they find much success with it here. Junkrat Tire is statistically the best ultimate in the game, so they might be hoping that that damage will be enough to get them a quick capture of point A. A lot of damage being done to the fairly weak Orisa shield. Dakota dive bombing, going straight to the point. If she gets hit by a single arrow, that'll be the end of her. Finally gets healed up. Now looking for a better angle to get some more damage done. Goes in for an attack close to the Hanzo. Manages to confirm the kill. Also trying to disrupt this res. Meanwhile, the rest of her team will get a lot of damage done on the point. It's looking more and more like the side of Seoul will at least manage to capture point A. Without really even a minute passed. Blazing has decided he doesn't like seeing that far up in the air with absolutely nothing to stop her. So he's going to be swapping onto this Widowmaker. This is a duel that Dakota should not theoretically be able to win, but only time will tell. She's getting aggressive. Confirms the kill onto Blazing. That question is, as the res comes through, will Dakota be able to do it again? Now that Apollyon is also on a hit scan himself, at the very least she's doing a good job disrupting them up top. Now J-Dam has this shatter, and Lil Gamer is coming up on his Riptire, and Dakota coming up on her ultimate as well. Slam comes through, manages to find 2. They're going to confirm the kill onto one of them, and now they're chasing down that Reinhardt, but the side of Seoul is getting shot in the backside. Their numbers fall one after another. They'll still have another chance to get back on to this payload, and they'll have the ultimates to try and at least capture second. They're going to have to go fast. They don't want Sangurn to get that Graviton Surge. If he does, it's basically over for them. They don't have the ultimates to stop that. They don't have the ultimates to survive it. Lil Gamer taking some quick damage. However, now the Fire Strike has been used, so theoretically he could use Riptire right now and not be afraid of that catching it out. Riptire is coming out. What will it find? Manages to find 2. That should be enough to give them the advantage, but Sangurn, ever more, is coming up on this Graviton Surge. At this point, it's far too gone. The rest of his team is dead. No one can really follow up on the damage, and Sangurn only has 0 charge to his name in the first place. Looks like he still might want to pop it. Yep, there it will be. It comes through. Will they find anything out of it, though? Counter Graviton will come out. And yes, it's looking like they'll manage to just stop the enemy side from getting the capture on point 2. Sangurn taking a careful usage of his resources and time. in order to delay just long enough for his team to come back in.
Score 3-4. Switching sides.
Not really much that you can say other than Sangern basically just carried that last fight with that ultimate. And now it's going to be Seoul having to defend basically the entirety of point A and B in order to stop the enemy team from getting their third map and winning this set. Now that it's going to be the Philly side on the offense, I'm wondering what it's looking like they're going to choose to play here. So far it's looking like they like Blazing on this Widowmaker and Apollyon on this Pharah. It's not a bad combination.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Meanwhile, for the defense, Seoul is going to be running something kind of interesting. Dakota on this Mei, little gamer on the Bastion. Puts him in kind of a bit of an interesting position. Mei obviously is one of the strongest heroes in the game right now. To be honest, might be the strongest. So I don't necessarily ever disagree with Mei being used. However, little gamer on this Bastion could be easily countered if he just leaves the slightest opening for Apollyon or Blazing.
I am empowered.
Apollyon making himself known. Now he sees that they have that Bastion and he knows exactly the corner where they do. It's going to be interesting to see how they go about contesting this point though, as now again the shield abandons little gamer, and if that shield goes away, Bastion is dead. There's nothing that he can do. He's a man who has to stay still in order to get any value. So if you take away his only form of protection, it's over and done. They find it fast. Now they're going to basically have 3 minutes in order to capture the entirety of the second Streets phase. Here's the thing. Streets phase is not that hard to capture. So going forward, I think that Philly is going to be pretty happy with their odds. Dakota is now on the Widowmaker, dueling Apollyon. Apollyon, this time, not finding much success, but Blazing will get a quick kill. Quick headshot onto the unsuspecting Widow. Justin's getting a little bit deep in here, but not really finding much of anything. Speaking of not finding much, we see that no one's really contesting this cart. They can't afford to give up this much space. They have to take a fight early here, because even if they lose, if they take a fight early, they'll still have another opportunity, another chance to come back in and try and contest later, but they've given up so much space. This has gone from being something where they could theoretically have 2 goes at it to only being a single shot opportunity. They're already falling. 2 minutes left to go here, but I don't think that they're even going to need 1. Apollyon has this barrage. He lets his presence be known. Justin doesn't turn around to deal with him. This is going to be Philadelphia taking map 3, winning this set. Go on to a 4th map where Philly's going to be trying to get the 4-0 for a clean win sweep. And Seoul is going to be trying to find at least 1 map win. Put themselves on the board for stage 2.
Surrender to my will.
Basically, that lined up perfectly for Peyton, also known as Mana. That lined up perfectly so that he could do damage and do healing all at the same time. Really the perfect opportunity to coalescence just so happened to present itself because of the location of both the gravitons. And now we go on to a 4th map that I was actually looking forward to, but I don't remember what the map is. It is Junkertown. Alright. Junkertown. Junkertown. A lot of people say that Junkertown is a bad map. You're wrong. Junkertown is an amazing map. And now, we go to Junkertown for the final map. This is going to be Philadelphia, again, trying to get this 4-0. and Seoul trying to hold on to a little bit of dignity and at least get one map win here. Alright, that being said, it's looking like no one's asking for any substitutes or anything like that. There's a sub for Philly, okay. Hilal for Apollyon, gotcha. And now, looks like we're good to go. That's the only swap that's coming through by the looks of it. And we go on to Junkertown, boys. Philadelphia is going to be pretty happy to have found a map win, or Philadelphia is going to be pretty happy to have found such a quick win here with this currently 3-0. Why would it start me here? Why would it start me here at the cliff face? What? The location that it chooses to spawn you in for that stuff seems pretty random, like half the time, and it's always weirded me out. But whatever, that doesn't really matter. What really matters is that Seoul, the team who's going to get the first attack matters so much on these entirely payload maps. You can either completely dominate and wreck the opponent's confidence, or you can fall flat on your face and leave them with just a little bit to clean up at the very end. It's looking like the offense of Seoul is going to be looking to run something pretty standard for Junkertown. Yep, that's right. Bastion strats, baby. Bastion strats. Side of Philly is only kind of prepared for something like that. Sangern can technically take out the Bastion on his own. That squid can also hook, especially with the help of Hilal, in order to displace the Bastion and get him out of his turret form. So they have that going for them. However, the question is, will they actually be able to find those hooks and that kill shot before Little Gamer has already done enough damage to basically be worth it for Seoul? We'll see going forward. Little Gamer now set up. Now the setup has commenced. Someone seems to be trying to delay the point. Sangern a bit low, weak to the knees already. Little Gamer, bit of an interesting decision to get up and get down, but sometimes it do be like that. Brigitta's trying her very hardest, but Bastion melts through Brigitta. It's not even a question or a contest. Melts through the shield, melts through the health. Bastion is a Brigitta counter, and you're not going to want to be running her. We see that as Peyton now moving on to this Moira. Now it's pretty easy to counter Bastion on Junkertown if you run something like a Ana, because there's so many angles that you can get around the side or throw a nade onto the Bastion in order to block off his healing, and they let them take first. You know, it happens. Blazing takes out Dakota, but it won't really matter. First has already been captured. They know where Blazing is, and so far all he's been is a little gnat in their sides, but it's still not enough. Blazing, alright. I guess taking a lot of damage, not really getting anything out of it, and now Dakota falls. Little Gamer sees that they're in kind of an awkward position. They want to win this fight fast. Yep, that should basically be it. All these kills are going in favor of Seoul. It's all trying to survive as long as he can, but Little Gamer not really going into turret form, even though at this stage, all you're really looking to do is clean up. I don't think it'd be that much. I don't think it'd be that hard of a decision. They're going to benefit from their Widow's sight. The question is, will they know that Blazing has just gone around here? They heard the blink at the very least. Little Gamer doesn't want to stay stuck still for too long. He seems to have this strategy of anytime that he's even slightly harassed, he'll swap out of his turret mode into recon mode. It's been keeping him alive so far. Now the ultimate will come through. He'll find the kill onto Mana. That squid finds the reciprocating murder onto him. And finally, Philadelphia will manage to mend the bleeding. and take out the enemy squad. But with 4 minutes left to go, I think it's pretty good odds that Seoul is at least going to be able to capture second. The question is, when are they going to do it? Low Gamer now has this Junkrat Riptide, but they have to play against Sangern's Blizzard, which we'll have in just a second. The question is, the wall comes through. I mean, okay, Sangern, I kind of get it. You want to delay them for a little bit, but it's a little bit more difficult than that. He might find a lot here if he decides to Blizzard, and he will. That's going to be not only great for him, for an opportunity for a lot of kills, but also for the rest of his team in order to get some pretty free damage done. It seems like they might have been a little bit too confident, and they basically traded evenly despite expending that ultimate. Dakota finally breaks through the shielding, wants to try and take out the Orisa. Orisa has such a huge head hitbox that really it's basically the easiest target in the game to hit with a Widowmaker, or any snipers in general. Little Gamer getting into a little bit of a struggle here. Only 2.5 minutes. Really, about a minute has been a minute has passed here since Seoul initially got stopped. And they haven't even touched the point. We see how far back it's moved now. Little Gamer just trying to survive against all of that spam coming his way, and he'll manage to do it. We see these two teams kind of brawling it out here. Jot's trying to take out the Mei, but there's only so much that you can do. Mei's again so strong. She's so strong in this meta for various reasons, one of which being she can absolutely take out a Brigitte. The ultimates are coming through. Justin trying to do as much damage as he can, decides to use Take a Breather when he has full health. Yeah, this is basically just a brawl, but it's not in favor of Seoul whatsoever. Managed to get the kill onto that squid. That's mainly just JDam carrying more than his fair share of the weight. At this point, all that Seoul's really doing is staggering themselves. Finally, they get 2 kills out of seemingly nowhere, but the spawns are still way far in the advantage of Philly. I'm surprised that they've managed to do this. They want to commit here. They want to try and finish this off, and they have the tire to do it. They see that squid coming through, and it's looking like they'll finally manage to cap second. I don't understand how they did that. I actually have no idea. They were in such a bad place. Did the respawns just come in? I guess they must have. Did the fight really go on for so long that like all of the Seoul respawns were able to come through? Because that would be amazing, dude. Justin coming up on his whole hog. That's a pretty good counter for this hamster ball. In fact, he could use it just about now, and never mind, Hamster's already dead. Little Gamer finds 2, they were all the way over there. It's going to be a lot of free space captured for Seoul. They're going to manage to get pretty close to the end of the line before this next fight is going to begin. But they're going to start at a disadvantage as the Little Gamer goes down. Dakota trying to do a little bit of damage here as well. Dakota's in kind of a weird position here against so many theoretical counters, one of which apparently is the Mercy. Sangern finds a hit onto Bryant. It's going to be the entire side of Seoul just melted one after another as the kill feed goes entirely orange. Now, as far as ultimates are headed here, we see JDam completely resets his ultimate charge, going to 0. Now they swapped onto this Reinhardt. Jots has his, man, we see 2 support ultimates for the side of Seoul here. Little Gamer is now swapped onto this McCree. Some mirror DPS comps here. Question is, how much good will actually be done with that? JDam goes in, bit of a suicide run. No one's able to help him or follow up. He doesn't even get any damage onto its Hyle because of the because he fortified. At this point, this fight is basically over already. Really, it's just kind of on Seoul to try and run away, I think, but then again, I've been wrong before. Blazing tried to use his ultimate to find something, but it doesn't connect. Meanwhile, Sangern finds two, but trades his life for it. These kills are still going in favor of Philly. It's kind of on Seoul to just try and run away. They only have 15 seconds left. They're not going to get a full recontest if they die now. Yeah, it's looking like this is basically the end of the line for Seoul. They're not going to get much farther than this unless they manage to pull a miracle out of their butts. Dakota goes down, stuck in place. High noon. Well, it's high noon somewhere, but not here tonight. Little gamer gets taken down before he can even pop the ultimate.
Score 0-2. Switching sides.
Alright, going forward. It's now going to be Seoul trying to defend up until about halfway through the third point. It's not too hard. It's not too hard. Who's playing, by the way? Which tank group? I don't understand the question. Which tank group? I don't understand the question. Currently, the two teams are Seoul in gold and Philadelphia in orange. But we don't really have tank groups. Like JDAM is technically from the Houston tank line, but everyone else is basically from their actual team. So I don't really understand the question, to be honest. Meanwhile, we're going to see Seoul coming up with a pretty interesting strat here, and I kind of like it. This is basically a counter Bastion strat. It's not bad. Jots on that Ana. He's certainly been grinding her, or at least I've seen him do it. Now the question is, will they actually be able to benefit off of the fact that they have this Ana? Will they be able to benefit off the fact that they can completely take away the enemy team's healing? They don't really have the tank line to be aggressive about it. They don't really have the tank line like the Reinhardt, who can just see the purple enemies and pin in and start swinging around doing as much damage as he can. So they're going to be dependent on a lot of other variables here. The nade comes through, don't really think it finds much of anything, and now Little Gamer tries to find a wall off, but doesn't find anything. It's a little bit exposed. Now he's kind of put himself off in this back corner. Sangren doing a good job of keeping that fight in favor of his team up towards the top. Both sides have an Ana, and so far, Jots is just struggling to keep his own team alive. Never mind trying to land a purple on the enemy team. Yeah, doing the best that they can is Seoul, but best that you can if you can't find opportunity isn't going to be too much. Next time lock Torb from being picked. Torb is allowed. We're in stage 2. Torb is allowed now. Peyton Pig gets set up. I mean, look, it's only been a minute and Philadelphia's already capped. This ain't a good look for the side of Seoul so far. But then again, this is basically the same situation that that Seoul was in on their attack to begin with, but they ended up getting stopped pretty hard. Walls come through. Everything basically coming out here, and Dakota Jones, after being ignored for so long, everyone knew that she was there and just kind of let her remain. It's going to be their mistake. Dakota basically gets a 4K. Peyton is still staying on this Bastion. He wants to at least use this ultimate, I'd imagine. They're going to have a good numbers advantage now that Dakota's been taken out. Now Jots as well. Blazing Puncher doing way more damage than I would have given him credit for, and that's going to be Seoul having to completely retreat. They might get one attack. They might get one attack onto this payload before it gets all the way to the end, but it's going to be at such a huge disadvantage unless a Little Gamer can find a really good ultimate here. They're so far away. It's going to be so difficult for JDAM to even survive long enough. He goes for a pin, doesn't connect with anything but a fortified Orisa, and the point gets captured. Little Gamer using his ultimate now would be a pretty big waste, and he knows that, so he's gonna start running the other way.
Haven't had enough. Thank you.
Blazing is getting a bit aggressive here. Yeah, don't think about the score thing too much. No one, look, unless they make me or West stream mods, that thing's never going to be updated correctly. Meanwhile, Blazing Puncher up top has been such a destructive force, but this time Dakota is ready for it. Will take the business to him. JDam gets that nano, but Dakota's doing all the damage. Finally, JDam connects with something. There's going to be Seoul making their stand. It's not too far away from the end, but it's certainly enough for them to at least put up a fight for these next 4 minutes. Little Gamer getting a bit of an early scuffle here, and Dakota will have his back.
Let's see you get past this.
Alright, Peyton has this ultimate. He's held on to it for a bit, but it could be just what the side of Philadelphia needs in order to push through this defense. We see him pop it, bubbly fine. After he gets through that wall, so far all he's finding is a shield, but now that the JDam is purple, it's going to be so important to get that damage. Peyton going up top, he's going to find Dakota on this Widowmaker and will be able to hunt her down with the help of that Mercy. Angel of Mercy, more like an Angel of Death. He's set up on this payload. No one will be able to do enough damage to take him down, even though he has no shield. Justin just wants to go and try and delay the payload for as long as he can, but no one can make it. It's going to be a 4-0. Philadelphia winning all 4 maps.
Play of the game.
Well, I mean, there's not really much that you can say here. Oh, that was unfortunate looking. There's not really very much that you can say here other than that it seemed like even if the side of... That was really good. I mean, that was really good. I hope that you all watched that, because again, that was really good. It just kind of seemed like at every single turn, either Seoul walked into their counters, or Seoul were able to find picks but weren't able to follow up on them, or Seoul were able to get this done but not this, like X but not Y, again and again and again, again and again and again. That's all you can really say about that, just Seoul struggling over and over. Meanwhile, Philadelphia basically being carried by their DPS line. Their DPS line always managed to, Blazing Puncher managed to find so much, Peyton always managed to find so much again, and they were enabled by the rest of their team quite well, but it wasn't like we saw, well, that Squid did well, Singer did well. It wasn't like we saw much in the way of like good anti-nades or anything like that. It was really just full support for the DPS line, a little bit for the tanks, and that was all that they needed. Now, we're going to be looking to get some quick interviews with both of the teams. I'll go ahead and interview Mana. Who are you interviewing? Mana. I've already sent him. I mean, look, guys, I've already sent him an invitation. So yeah, like, come on. I know who I'm interviewing. Just look at the stream to see who I'm interviewing. Jesus Christ. Did you... Oh, that's disgusting. Mod, do you have your voice shared? Alright, if you don't, someone will tell me. So, Your team did quite well this time around, getting the 4-0 on Seoul. What do you think led to this? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. But Mana, you were a Mercy man. So, did you guys have really much in the way of a moment where you kind of thought, okay, so how do we change our strategy to beat Seoul, or how do we do this or that to beat Seoul? It seemed like most of the time from where I was watching that Seoul kind of hung themselves over and over again. Hold on. Kigo says, yeah, alright, they say that they can't hear you. Feels bad, man.
Unfortunate. Hello,
Unfortunate,
gamers.
unluckers. So just to quickly repeat what you said, was there any point where you really felt like you had to counter Soul because it seemed like basically most of the time they kind of countered themselves?
Yeah, I feel like it happened sometimes, like on the Blizzard Worlds, it happened, and also there were a few times when they're on Junkertown as well when we switched off our DPS heroes in the third point of defense because they were hard countering us really then and kind of just rolled it through. I'm not like attack when we were attacking on Junkertown, they kind of shot themselves. Like I'm not sure what they were doing there. I think that's the moment where, because we were thinking of switching off the Bastion most of the time,
Hmm.
and they just didn't do anything to counter it. Like even with their Mei, the walls weren't great, and etc.
Yeah, it seemed like Soul at a compositional level should have been able to counter that Bastion. Like they had the Ana,
Yeah,
they had the Mei, but just never really amounted to anything. So meanwhile, on these other maps, though, you guys found a lot of success. Did you really do much in the way of any sort of theory crafting against Soul? Because I know that both of you, going off of stage one, were pretty middle of the road teams, we'll say.
yeah.
So,
We had we had a scrim with London yesterday to practice a few strategies, which we pretty much got rolled on because London are a very good team. But I think that helped, like seeing what a really good team can do, and then if we can counter them, we can counter most people.
mhm.
I think because Seoul and London also run similar strategies sometimes. With the goat, well, not really the goats, but the pseudo goats.
Mhm. So you think that all it kind of came down to was we were just prepared this time around, and even if we weren't prepared, Soul really didn't. Like, come on, we've
Yeah,
faced harder
I don't.
teams than Soul.
It might have just been an off day for Seoul or something, but they didn't really perform well.
Well, I'm sure that everyone's quite happy to see you on this Bastion role that we saw here instead of being the Mercy one trick that you've been most of this time. Uh, now we're now in new maps.
Marcy Brig 2 trick, actually.
Mer-
Thank you very
Mercy Brig
much.
2 trick, sorry to offend. Now we now have a new set of maps as well as uh, now Torb is, to my knowledge, allowed in these games. So do you think that anyone's going to much have some difficulties adjusting to this? Do you think that we're going to get a little bit of a shakeup here? Do you think that now is Philadelphia's time?
I think I'm very happy that we don't have to play Volskaya anymore because
Aren't
we
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 all?
weren't the best on Volskaya. But I think in the times we've played Anubis, we've done pretty well on it. So I think because 2CP was where we fell off quite a bit in stage one. Like we tended to lose 2CP maps,
Hmm.
and with like new signings as well, I think we could at least make it to playoffs, if not win the stage.
Big words. Big
Yeah.
words for what was at one point a Mercy Break 2 trick. But, Mana, we'll be happy to see it going forward. Let's see, next week, your team will be going up against... Who exactly? Philadelphia will be going against the LAS. That should be
Oh
another...
yeah, that should be a close game.
Yeah, we'll
That's
see.
they're an EU team as well, so that's good for us because we don't have
Mm-hmm.
4 million ping.
Alright, well, gracias, Mana. I'm gonna go ahead and talk to one of the people
See,
from Seoul. Adios.
yeah, adios.
Alright, well, he's not showing up. Feels bad. Uh... Uh... Where are you people? Where are you people? Oh, hello. How's it going? Hello. Hello. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, hello there.
Oh, hello. How's it going? Do me a favor
Good,
and
how are
make sure
you?
that your mic can be shared.
It is. It is. Unless I'm 99% sure.
Well, so was Mana.
Let's double check that. Oh, it's good. I think people
Alright,
are saying it's good.
so, Soul kind of struggled here. Soul kind
Uh,
of...
Most definitely did.
Yes. So what do you think went wrong this time around?
Um, I think that we, as a team, we're trying a few things that we weren't fully solid with yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think with a little bit more practice on certain comps or certain heroes, we may be definitely better. But I also just think maybe it just wasn't our day.
Yeah, but the first weekend is gonna be a bit weird. We're playing on new maps. Uh, Technically, Torbjorn, I believe, is allowed now, but no one really used them, which made me quite upset. But
Ooh, I
yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah. I mean, we're in stage 2 now. I think Torb's allowed in comp games now, so Torb is allowed in stage 2. Uh,
That's big.
yeah, at least to my knowledge. I might be wrong, but I've been wrong before. Anyway, so your team, Soul, you do have the benefit of that now. You do at least have a few people who can theoretically give some coaching and some VOD review. So
Mhm.
how are you looking a little bit more forward to stage 2 than you were the unfortunate time for your team that was stage 1?
So I don't think we did that poorly in stage one. I think of course, we didn't have the best record of all time. Absolutely, I concede to that. But I think we won or did surprisingly well against some teams that we probably shouldn't have done as well as we did on. I think that if we get back into that run, coupled with having coaches, I think we will do exceptionally better this stage and even stage 3.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you. You guys, you guys lost one versus New York, but New York isn't that bad. Uh, you guys beat Shanghai when they were at one of their stronger points, I'd say. You guys, for some reason, didn't play against Houston. I don't even know what that's about. And then you lost to LAB, but they also were playing with distance. So how much can you even consider that? So I'd say all around, stage one wasn't too bad for you guys. Map differential says otherwise, but I think that looking at it, you guys, you guys will be okay.
I don't. Yeah, again, I'm conceding that we lost majority of our matches, but I think what we came out of those matches with was overall victories on our end, showing that we can actually play together because our team essentially was built up from the ground this season as well. And we haven't put too much time and effort into too many scrims, too many just days of playing comp together, getting each other's strong suits, or feeling each other out. So I think moving into this stage, we will do exceptionally better, but unfortunately, today was a different story.
I'm going to go ahead and quickly amend the statement. Apparently, Torbjorn is not allowed yet. He will be allowed once he's allowed in actual comp games, which again will be in like 2 days anyway. But for some reason, we're going to go ahead and keep him locked, even though that's lame. But you know, it is what it is.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So, looking forward to some of these new maps. I know you've said that your team just needs a little bit more cohesion, but as far as these maps go, I mean, we're all pretty happy to be done with Volskaya.
Yes, definitely. I mean, as I don't think we won on Volskaya once last stage, so I think we will be happy with moving forward and not playing on that.
Yep. Well, all that we can really say is that despite what might look like a shaky start, the future of the Seoul team looks a lot brighter and really never probably looked as dark as it did in the first go around anyway. So, gracias, my boy. We'll be looking forward to seeing how you guys do next weekend against, let's see. Next weekend you will be playing against Next weekend you'll be playing against London, our
Easy clap.
semifinalist of stage one. Actual easy clap, dude. Actually not
Yeah.
even hard. Look, just go after West. He's the weak link. Beyond
Perfect.
that, yeah. I'm just gonna go ahead and let that one leak out. Look, I know.
Faster.
I've seen the scrims. I've seen it all. I know a weak link when I see it. But we'll see whether or not you guys can rise to the occasion next time around. That's about it for me. This will be my last game that I cast for this weekend, so good luck, everybody else. The next game should start in around about 20 minutes or so. Yeah, run for like 30 minutes. Alright, everybody. Adios. That's it for me.